Okay boys, so we're on to the third video for today's lesson. So looking at example 5, we're going to calculate the selling price. Make sure you underline that in red. This is what they've given you. The cost price is $200 and the profit is 17%. Now, when you're doing these, always start, you're working where the percentage is. So 17% means 17 over 100. We need to find that percentage of the only other number in the question of the $200. When you work that out, you get $34. So that is your profit. So it said the profit is 17%, so that's what you're working out. Profit is 17 over 100 times 200. So your profit of $34. Now we know that a profit means you've made money. So to find our selling price, we're going to start with the cost price, and if we're making money with a profit, we're going to add that number onto the original money. So we've now got $234 for the selling price. So if you have time at the end of an exam, just go back and check that it makes sense. So go, all right, if I had a cost price of $200 and I made a profit of 17%, does it make sense that my selling price would be $234? Well, it would, because at least it shows that your answer is above the cost price. So you do show that you're making a profit there. So it's a good little check. All right, in the second one, the cost price is $720. This time we have a loss of 35%. We're starting our working where the percentage is. So we're going to find our loss. Right, loss equals, it's always a good idea to write words down so you know what you're finding. So the loss equals 35 over 100 for 35% of the money in the question, $720, and you'll get a loss of $252. So now, the loss means we're subtracting money, we're losing money. So we have to take that money and subtract it. So we start with our original money, $720, and take off the loss. So your selling price is now $468, which looks correct because it's lower than what you started with. You have made a loss. Okay, in the next one, I've done this one because of the 150%. A lot of people get a bit confused with that. Is it possible to have a profit of 150%? Yes, it is. Okay, it's possible to have a profit of 150%, it's possible to have a loss of 150%. So at the moment, things like Bitcoin, you may not know about it, but your parents would. Things like Bitcoin took off. They probably had a profit way higher than that. So you can have profits a lot higher than 100%. But by the same token, those things can really drive downwards too. They might have a loss of 300% one day. Okay, so we're going to start here with our percentage. And we're going to find our profit. So we're going to write profit equals 150% is 150 over 100. Doesn't matter that it looks a bit strange. You can't get 150% in a test, but you can have a profit of 150%. So 150 over 100 times 79, the only money in the question, and your calculator will give you that. I'm not going to worry about changing anything about the decimal places at the moment because I haven't finished my answer. When I get to the end, I will. So now we're going to find what the question really wanted, which was the selling price. A profit means we're adding money on. So we're going to add this profit onto our original money. And then we get, off our calculator, 197.5. Now, yes, money has to have two decimal places, so you will put a 0 on the end of that, and your answer is $197.50. So this person has started with a cost price of $79 and sold it for $197.50. So they've made a big profit. All right, the next thing we're doing is GST. GST is something that applies in Australia. It does apply in other countries. They sometimes call them other things. So some countries will call it a VAT, value added tax. We call ours a GST, a goods and services tax. So it's a tax, this particular work that we're doing is focused on Australia because we live here. So the GST in Australia is a tax collected by the Australian government. They get the money. They actually take that money and hand it out to the states so that they can use it for whatever they need to use it for schools, hospitals, roads, things like that. Okay, so it's collected by the Australian government and it's collected on the price of all goods and services, which if you think about it covers pretty much everything. There are a few exceptions like fresh fruit and vegetables, but other than that, every single thing you buy, you are paying a tax to the government. Every single service you buy, you are paying a tax to the government. So if you get an electrician in to put in some power points at home, they will charge you for the actual power points, their goods. They'll also charge you for their time. They might be charging $85 an hour. They are charging for their time. That is a service. You will pay extra on top of that for the power points, the goods. You'll also pay extra on top of that $85 an hour for the service. So they will total up the bill for all the goods and services, and then they will add another 10% to the price. That money is what goes to the government. The rest of it goes to the actual person who did your work, or if you go to Coles or Woolies to buy something there, they will keep the money and do whatever they need to do with it, paying wages and everything else. Okay? So, we're going to do a couple of examples on it today. We're going to get into, next lesson we'll do the harder sorts of things on it, but we're just looking at finding the GST that you are paying and the final price. Okay, so if we look at a car priced at $20,900, you're not going to pay that for the car. I'm just turning this around so you can see the rest of this. I might just move it, sorry. You might have to zoom in on this so you can see that board a little better while I go through it. Okay, so for a $20,900 car, we are finding 10%, 10 over 100 of that $20,900. Work it out on your calculator and you will get $2,090. That is the GST. That money goes straight to the Australian government. The final price that you are going to pay for the car is the original $20,900 plus the GST on the car, which we just worked out, and you will pay for the car $22,990. This much money goes to the car company you bought it from, and this much money goes to the Australian government. All right, if we look at a smaller example, an ice cream priced at $3, the person selling it to you in the shop cannot charge you $3. They firstly have to work out the GST on that ice cream. So they work out 10% or 10 over 100 times $3, and you will get 0.3 on your calculator, or 30 cents. Then when you find the final price for what you pay for the ice cream, you'll pay the $3 plus the GST of 30 cents, and you're going to pay $3.30 for that ice cream. $3 goes to the man you bought the ice cream off, 30 cents goes to the Australian government. So I'm going to finish it there. You have no homework tonight, so all you have to do is copy these notes down and listen to the explanation. If any of you are interested in going to Mathletics and just making sure that you're on top of that, you can do that. But other than that, stay safe, and I'll see you next lesson.